In this video, I will be discussing to you the fourth topic in data management, which is all about measures of central tendency or measures of central location. So, measures of central location is used to investigate a set of quantitative data. It is useful to define numerical measures that describe important features of the data. So one of the important ways of describing a group of measurements, whether it be a sample or a population, is by the use of an average. So ano bang tinatawag natin na average? That is the measure or a measure of the center of a set of data when the data is arranged in an increasing or decreasing order of magnitude. In any measure indicating the center of a set of data, arranged in an increasing or decreasing order of magnitude is called measure of central location or a measure of central tendency. And of course, you are already familiar with these three commonly used measures of central location, which are the mean, median, and mode. And the most important of these three is the mean. Ayan. So, kanina, di ba, yung mean at saka average, pareho lang yon. And I know that you are already familiar on how to get the average, especially if you are, ang tawag na dito, you are an honor student, consistent ka sa pagiging honor student mo, tapos gusto mo na minomonitor lagi yung grades mo every grading period. So ngayon kukunin mo yung average ng grades mo para malaman mo kung gaano kataas ito. Parang ganon. So, I know that you are already familiar on how to get the mean or what do you call that one? Average. Let's take a look at this. Population mean. This can be computed. Dito sa gamit ko na cellphone, hindi niya mabasa yung mga formula na nailagay ko. Okay, but anyway, I'll try na isulat na lang. If the set of data, x sub 1, x sub 2, x sub n, not necessarily all distinct, represents a finite population of size n is the number of population, then the population mean is computed by, yan, ito kasi yung symbol yan, mu is equal to summation of xi from going from 1 to n. Yan. N yan. Over the number of population. So, ito yung formula niya. Population mean is equal to the summation of xi going from 1 to n over n, where n is the size of the population or the number of population where you get your data. Okay? Example, the number of employees at different drugstores are 3, 5, 6, 4, and 6. If we are going to treat this data as population, then we could get the population mean as, mu or population mean mu is equal to summation of xi all over n. Yan. Since we are going to consider all the data that we have gathered, then it's okay na wag na nating ilagay yung lower limit at saka upper limit. Kasi nga i-consider natin. That's why it's just summation xi over n. Yan. Sorry, medyo hindi naiintindihan yung ano natin. So, having that one, anong gagawin na natin? Equals, i-add natin ngayon yung 3, 5, 6, 4, and 6, which is equal to 11, 14, 18, 24. Okay? So, that's 24 all over. Ilan yung number of ano natin? All over 5. So, 24 divided by 5, the answer is, okay, 4.8. So, that's the population mean. Now, let's proceed. What about sample mean? When we say sample mean, if the set of data x sub 1, x sub 2, x sub n, not necessarily all distinct, represents a finite sample of size n, then the sample mean is, paano siya kinocompute? Similar lang din po siya dun sa may population mean. Yun kasi, it's very important to indicate whether your data is from a sample or from a population para alam mo kung paano mo siya i-describe later on or kung paano mo siya i-conclude dun sa study mo. But basically, almost they have the same, what do you call that, formula on how to get it. The only difference is the symbol. So a while back, in the population mean, we used mu, okay, yung ganitong symbol. So we use mu, yan, yung ganitong symbol for the population mean. Whereas, for sample mean, we will be using X bar, yan, to signify or to symbolize sample mean. Equals, ayan sabi doon, summation of xi going from 1 to n all over small n. Okay? Yan. Small n. So, that is the formula for sample mean. I'm sorry for that interruption. So, did you understand? Did you copy? Okay. Also, I'm so sorry for my pen craft. Medyo madulas po kasi yung screen ng cellphone. But anyway, you can go over with our module para mas makita ninyo kung ano po yung mga symbols and formula po ng ating mga ng mean, median, and mode. Anyway, for this purpose, please bear with my pen craft and my presentation. Now, let's proceed. Example, this is an ungrouped data. Kasi meron po kasi tayong ginagamit na formula for grouped data and ungrouped data. So, unahin muna natin sa ungrouped data. Example, a food inspector examined a random sample of 7 cans of a certain brand of tuna to determine the percent of foreign impurities. The following data were recorded: 1.8, 2.1, 1.7, 1.6, 0.9, 2.7, and 1.8. Now, compute the sample mean. So, applying the formula, that is X bar, okay, that is X bar is equal to summation of xi all over n. Parang R na siya. N. So, ngayon, i-add mo lang lahat yan. Yung 1.8 plus 2.1 and so on and so forth. Then, divided by 7. Kasi nga 7 cans of a certain brand of tuna. Then, the answer is 1.8%. So, percent is the unit because that is in percentage. Yan. Determine the percent, sabi niya. Percent of foreign impurities. And the recorded information, of course, these are all in percentage. That's why we have 1.8% is the sample mean for this example. Next, what about the mean of group data? how are we going to compute for the mean of group data? The elements in a set of data may be arranged and grouped resulting in a frequency table. So, meron tayong tinatawag na frequency table. There are two methods of computing the mean of the group data. Meron tayong long method and that what we call coded deviation method. And we have a formula, of course, for long method. This is applicable especially when the data is masyado siyang malaki and mas madali na lang kasing i-present ito in a table rather than isusulat mo siya, i-enumerate mo or isusulat mo yung lahat ng numero. What if you have 1,000 set of data? So, napakahirap naman na i-present mo na ganun lang. That's why they are going to group it, yan, and present it using table or even in graph. Yan. And we have formula for long method. Paano yung formula niya? That is summation, mu. Mu is the symbol for population mean. This is for the population mean of group data. Mu is equal to summation of f x all over n. And for sample mean siya, x bar is equal to summation of f x all over small n. Example. This is our table. These are grades of students of Besabe 1-1, okay, from the previous year. How are we going to compute for the sample mean? Suppose that this data is from samples. Then, F is frequency, meaning to say, di ba grinupo na natin siya, we presented it in a table, such that meron tayong tinatawag na class interval, ito yung sa first column natin, then this one is frequency, yan, frequency, then midpoint, ito ay kino-compute by getting the average of your class interval, kaya nakukuha mo tong midpoint, kasi class, itong part na to, given na yan. Pero, tuturuan ko kayo mamaya kung paano nga ba nagka-come up with this, especially if you have only raw data or raw information. Ngayon, paano mo siya iti-table? So, meron tayong steps on how to do it. So, I will show you that one later on. But anyway, for the sake of getting the sample mean or population mean, let's take a look at this example. So, ito given na to, itong first and second column. Kasi itong frequency kasi, ito yung number of sample na magfo-fall between 90 to 94. So, yan ay ginagawa mo dapat yan. So, bibilangin mo. Ilan ba yung nakakuha na estudyante ng grade na ay between 90 to 94? So, bibilangin mo ngayon yung mga yun. Yan. Pero, ano ang magiging setback nito? Hindi mo na malalaman kung ilan yung nakakuha ng 90, ilan yung nakakuha ng 94. Ito lang, basta between 90 to 94, 7 yung nakakuha nun. Then, 85 to 89, 13 naman na estudyante ang meron doon. 82 to 84, 16. Yan. So, yun lang, hindi mo na ma-identify whether it be yung 7 pa na yun, 94 lahat yung grade na nakuha nila. No, hindi mo na kasi ma-identify yun. So, mawawala na yung identity, kumbaga, nung mga samples. But anyway, so, the first thing that you need to do, in order to get the, the sample mean, is to find the midpoint, of course. So, paano nga ba kinukuha yung midpoint? Gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, just get the average of your class interval, then that's your midpoint already. So, 90 divided by 90 plus 94 divided by 2, that is 92. And then, get the value of your fx. Yan, fx. Bakit kailangan na meron tayo nitong fourth column? Para hindi na tayo mahirapan kasi ang kailangan kasi natin later on is the summation of fx para ilagay natin yon dun sa may formula natin. If you can recall a while back that our formula for sample mean is x bar is equal to summation of fx all over n. Yan. That's why we need to identify the summation of fx. How to get the summation of fx? So first, you are going to multiply your frequency, yan, itong column na to, multiplied by the midpoint. Okay? Kaya meron tayo nito. Ito na ngayon yung product ng frequency mo at saka ng midpoint. So kapag nakuha mo na yung product ng each row, i-add mo na ngayon tong mga to para makuha mo yung summation of fx. So, since nakuha mo na yon, meron ka na ngayon yung numerator mo dun sa formula mo. And your n. Paano naman nakukuha yung n? Just add all the numbers under your second column. Ito na siya. Yan. 50. Kaya ngayon, i-divide mo lang yon. So, i-divide mo na ngayon yon para makuha mo yung sample mean. And that is 4,135 divided by 50 to get, ano makukuha nyo dyan? 83. Or 82.7. Yan. 82.7 or 83 yung makukuha mong sample mean. Understood? So, yan. Medyo magulo na yung presentation natin. Anyway, another example. Another example. So, dito naman, makikita ninyo, hindi na, naka-specify na lang siya, yung, ang tawag dito, ito na yung midpoint mo. Wala na yung interval. Okay? Ito na ngayon yung midpoint, na wala yung part ng class interval. And this is your frequency. I-add mo lang lahat yan, kasi kailangan mo yung n. Tapos, multiply this 2. Yan, multiply mo yung daily income to your frequency to get this one, to get this. Yan, para makuha mo yung mga yan. And then, kapag nakuha mo na yung product ng midpoint mo tsaka ng frequency, just add it up. Then, substitute this value to your formula para makuha mo ay, yan, x bar is equal to summation of fx all over n. Ano yun? 15815 divided by x bar is equal to summation of fx all over n is equal to ito, 15815 divided by this one, 49, and the answer is, ano yung answer natin dyan? 322.76. Yan. So, ito na ngayon yung sample mean natin for this certain example. Okay. How about the other method? So, yun yung long method natin na. Long method to compute the sample mean. What about the coded deviation method? How to do it? Okay? Ito yung step niya. First one, take the midpoint of one of the intervals. An arbitrary reference point as assumed mean x prime. As far as the result is concerned, it makes no difference which interval midpoint is used. So, kahit alin sa mga class interval mo ang kukuhanin mo ng midpoint. It doesn't matter. Kung yung pinakamataas o kung yung pinakamababa or kahit alin sa mga yon, kahit alin sa mga nasa sa row mo. Okay? Pwede kang mamili doon. Then, just get the midpoint. Then, after the frequency and midpoint columns, f and x, make another column to represent unit deviations from the arbitrary reference point and label it as D prime. Since there's no deviation at the reference point, place 0 at that point and complete the column positive deviations above and negative deviations below. Ayun ay kung saan yung pinili mo. Lalagyan mo ngayon yon ng 0. Kasi yun yung magiging reference point mo. So ngayon, 0, then yung kapag tataas ka, positive deviation, ibig sabihin 1, 2, 3, 4. Then kapag bababa ka naman, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Ayan. And then step 3, make another column and label it as FD prime. Kasi you are going to multiply your frequency with the D prime and enter the product in this column. Then step 4, get the sum of D prime to obtain summation of FD prime. Then, to find the mean, you are going to use this formula. Ito yan. Ito yung formula niya. X, sample mean kasi siya, kaya X bar is equal to X bar prime. Ito yung sinabi ko kanina na kahit alin doon sa mga sample mean, na kung saan ay in-indicate mo na 0 yung kanyang division, plus the summation of FD prime over N multiplied by I. Yan. Yan formula niya. Now, let's proceed to our example para mas maintindihan natin. Yan. So, we're gonna use the example a while back dun sa first method natin. So, nagdagdag tayo dito ng dalawang column. The D prime, ito yung sa deviation. And then, ito naman yung product ng frequency at saka ng deviation. Okay. Ano yung una natin ginawa? Just select kahit alin dyan sa mga class interval na yan. So, dito ang pinili ko is 80 to 84. Yan yung lalagyan ko ng 0. So, nilagyan ko siya ng 0. And then, positive deviation up. So, positive 1, positive 2. And then, negative 1, negative 2 naman dun sa pababa. And then, just multiply your F to your D. Yan. Kaya ngayon, nakuha natin 14, 13, 0, negative 8, negative 12. And then, add. Add mo lahat yan para makuha mo yung summation of FD prime. Siyempre, kapag mag-add ka ng negative, mag-subtract ka, di ba? Kaya ang nangyari, positive 7 na ngayon yung summation of FD prime natin. Kapag i-substitute na natin siya sa formula natin na X bar is equal to X prime plus summation of F D prime over N times I. Ma'am, ano yung I? Ano yung N? Ano yung F? Ano yung D? Okay? So, yung X prime natin, ito yung midpoint ng zero deviation natin. Ano yung 0? Ito yung 0 deviation natin. So, kukunin natin yan. Ito yung magiging value ng X prime mo. Tapos, yung summation of FD prime mo, ito na yung kinompute natin sa column na to. Ito na siya. Your N is your number of frequency. And your I is the class or the interval of your classes. Ilan ang interval nito? Ilan ang interval nito? 5. Okay? So, yung I natin, 5. Kaya ngayon, kung kukumputin na natin yan, ang magiging value na ngayon ng sample mean mo for this using the coded deviation method is 83 pa din. So, same lang siya dun sa may long method natin kanina. Siguro sabihin nyo, ma'am, mas madali naman yung long method. Ito kasi ang pinagkaiba nito, especially kapag hindi ka familiar dun sa unang formula natin at mas naintindihan mo ito. Ito lang kasi, kahit alin kasi sa class interval ang piliin mo na lalagyan mo ng 0, pareho pa rin yung makukuha mong sample mean. So, kahit na nag-start ka sana sa 90 to 94, then negative na lahat yan pababa, still, ang makukuha mo na kasagot ay 83. Okay? So, yun naman yung kagandahan ng coded deviation method. So, again, either way, kung mas familiar ka sa long method, it doesn't matter. Kapag mas okay naman para sa'yo ang coded deviation, then it doesn't matter. As long as you come up with the same answer. Let's proceed to median. So, this is the second most useful measure of central location. Median. For a population, we designate the median by, ito din yung kanya, pareho lang sila ng symbol. Yung symbol ng population mean at saka ng population, tsaka ng median, almost the same. Okay? So, the median of a set of observations, kapag ito ay ungrouped, okay, is makukuha mo by arranging the order of magnitude into increasing or decreasing order. Then, get the middle value when the number of observations, then just get the middle value. Basta i-arrange mo lang siya in increasing or decreasing order, and then kapag na-arrange mo siya, just get the middle value. Kapag odd number siya, kapag odd yung bilang, kapag 1 to 5 sana yung samples mo, yung pangatlo, yun yung magiging median mo. Pero paano kapag may 6 values ka or meron kang 6 samples, meron kang 6 populations? Siyempre, sabi dito, get the two middle values, then get the average. Divided by 2 mo lang siya, then that is already the value for your median. Example, on 5-term test in psychology, a student has made grades of 82, 93, 86, 92, and 79. Find the median for this population of grades. So, ang solution lang dyan, just arrange the grades in an increasing order of magnitude. That's why we get 79, 82, 86, 92, and 93. So, since this is odd, okay, kung bibilangin mo yung number of population is, we have only 5. So, ibig sabihin, odd number siya. So, just get the middle term. Ano yung middle term natin? 86. And that is already your population median. So, as simple as that. Another example. The nicotine contents of a random sample of 6 cigarettes of a certain brand are found to be 2.3, 2.7, 2.5, 2.9, 3.1, and 1.9 milligrams. So, find the median. So, same is true with our first example a while back. Just arrange all the data in an increasing order of magnitude. Then, count whether yung number of sample mo ay odd or even number. So, since in this example, we have 6, anong sabi natin kanina? We are going to get the two middle values, then get the average or divided by 2. Since our middle values are 2.5 and 2.7, therefore, i-add mo yung dalawa divided by 2, ang makukuha natin na sagot ay 2.6 milligrams. So, that is the median for this example. Now, let's proceed. Paano naman kapag grouped yung data? How are we going to compute for the median? So, for the large quantities of data, the median is computed using a frequency distribution with a cumulative frequency column. So, the middle item is then determined by n over 2. So, nawala na naman yung ano natin dyan. So, ito, yung nandyan is n over 2. Yan. N over 2. Where n is the number of items or the size of sample or population. Then to find the median of a group data, we are going to use this formula. X bar is equal to L plus n over 2 less f, capital F yan f, all over small letter f multiplied by I. So, ano yung L natin dyan? L is the exact lower limit of the median class. And then N is the total number of items or the size of sample or population. F is equal to less than or equal to cumulative frequency preceding the class interval containing the median. And F is the frequency of the median class. And lastly, for I is the size of the class of interval. Yan. So, yan yung mga component ng median if it is group data. Example. So, gagamitin ulit natin yung scores kanina ng present natin dun sa may mga previous examples natin. So, in here, you are going to first get the exact lower limit or lower boundary of your scores. So, paano natin makukuha yung exact lower limit? If it is whole number, just subtract 0.5. Okay? In each of the lower limit in this class interval. So, yung mga lower limit natin dito ay yung 90, 85, 80, 75, and 70. So, yun yung mga lower limits natin. And to get the exact lower limit, just subtract 0.5 in each of the lower limit. Kaya nakuha natin yung 89.5, 84.5, 79.5, 74.5, and 69.5. Of course, itong dalawa na to, given na tong mga to. Ito, madali lang naman na itong makukuha. And then, for the cumulative frequency naman, if you started at high scores, yan, make sure na dito, ang mauuna naman ay yung totality of your frequency. Yan, 50. So, paano nakukuha yung cumulative frequency? So, you are going to, kapag scores mo doon ay yung higher, okay, yung mas mataas, pababa, yan. Diba, descending kasi yung scores mo dyan. Ilalagay mo doon is the totality or the total size of your population. So, 50. So, nakuha yung 50, eto, 50 dito. And then, paano natin malalaman dun sa second row? Just subtract 7 from 50. So, 50 minus 7 is 43. Then, 43 less 13 is 30. 30 less 16 is 14. Yan. 14 less 6 is, 14 less 8 is 6. Yan. So, that is our cumulative frequency. Now, sabihin siguro natin, how are we going to identify yung etong median class? How are we going to identify? Because it's very important that you know how to identify the median class kapag nasa group siya. So, as simple as dividing your number of or the size of your population by 2. Yun yung n over 2. So, since 50 divided by 2 is 25. Ngayon, saan ba magfo-fall yung 25? Saan mo makikita yung pang 25th na value dito sa group data natin? Kapag kasi dito, pag mag-start ka kasi sa 6, syempre wala pa siya dyan kasi 6 values pa lang yung nandyan. And then dito naman, 14 values pa lang. Eh ngayon, yung pang 25 is before mo ma-reach yung 30th values dito, nadaanan mo yung 25th value. Kaya ngayon, dito mo matatagpuan yung median or, the middle value. Kaya ito yung median class natin. Dito mo siya makikita. Okay? So, going back now to our formula. Ano yung formula natin kanina? X bar is equal to L plus N over 2 less F, yung capital F, divided by small letter f, multiplied by I. Okay? So, yun yung formula natin. Ngayon, i-identify natin, ano ba yung mga given? Alin dyan yung mga given? Mula dyan sa table natin, identify natin kung alin dyan yung mga component nung formula natin. So, yung N, given na yan yung 50. Okay? Yung L naman, that is the exact lower limit of yung capital L. That is the exact lower limit of your median class. Yan. Which is 79.5. Tapos, yung capital letter F mo, the capital letter F, sabi nga natin kanina, that is the cumulative frequency preceding. So, before the class interval containing the median. So, kaya ngayon, since nag-start tayo kanina sa 6, 14 yung yung cumulative frequency natin na before the class interval that contains the median. So, 14 yung capital letter F natin. And then, of course, small letter f is the frequency of your median class. Ano yung frequency ng median class natin? Ito. Dito mo ngayon makikita yon 16. And of course, yung class or the size of our class interval is 5. Yan yung I natin, 5 yun. Kaya ngayon, i-substitute na natin ngayon yun sa formula. Yung L natin is 79.5 plus N over 2 is 25. So, less 14 divided by 16 multiplied by 5. Okay, kaya ang makukuha natin ngayon na sagot ay 82.94. I'll repeat. We are now going to substitute the values, okay, to our formulas wherein your capital letter L is equal to 79.5 plus N over 2 is 25. Saan nakuha yung 25? N is 50 divided by 2. So, that is 25. Less F, capital letter F. That is the frequency before the median class that contains the median. And that is 14. Yan. And then, divided by F, small letter f, or the frequency of your median class, which is 16. Multiplied by the size of the class interval, which is 5, to get the value of 82.94. Okay. Naintindihan po ba? So, yan yung median ng group data. Now, let's proceed to the mode of ungrouped. How are we going to identify the mode? So, the mode of a set of observations is that value which occur most often or with the greatest frequency. So, kapag tiningnan mo ngayon yung raw data mo, tapos nakita mo na, ito pala yung pinakamarami, yung 20. Marami ang mga nakakuha ng 20. So, ito yung mode. Ayan. So, the mode does not always exist. This is certainly true when all observations occur with the same frequency. Paano pag may 20 observations ka, tapos lahat yung observations mo, pare-pareho na may tigda 20, for example, tigda dalawa na 20, 18, 17, 16, yan. So, kapag ganun yung set of data na na-gather mo, there's no way that you can identify the mode. So, ibig sabihin, walang mode yung data na yon or yung set of data na yon. Example, if the donations from the residents of Fairway Forest toward the Virginia Lung Association are recorded as 9, 10, 5, 9, 9, 8, 6, 10, and $11, then $9 is the value that occurs with the greatest frequency. So, yun na ngayon yung mode mo. Kasi ilan yung 9? 3. And the rest, tigda dalawa na, tapos tig isa na. Kaya ngayon, in this example, $9 is the mode. Another example. The number of movies attended last month by a random sample of 12 high school students were recorded as follows. So, ayan yung mga numbers. So, if you are going to count or get the frequency, malalaman natin that we have two modes in this example. Kasi meron tayong 2 and 4. So, since 2 and 4 occur with the greatest frequency, this distribution is said to be bimodal. Yan. Bimodal. But what about if it in a group data? How are we going to find the mode? Yan. In a group distribution, the class interval where the value with the highest frequency is the modal class. Halos same lang sila ng way of computation sa may pagkuha ng median. Ayan. The midpoint of the interval is the mode. To find the mode of a group data, we have this formula. Ayan. Yan yun natin. MO, so ito yung kanya, MO is equal to LMO or the exact lower limit of the modal class plus D1 over D1 plus D2 multiplied by I. Yan. Yan yung formula natin for this. Ano yung LMO? That is the exact lower limit of the modal class. Paano ulit natin malalaman yung modal class? That is the class interval wherein it has the highest frequency. Asan natin malalaman yung frequency? Di ba meron tayong column ng frequencies? Tingnan mo lang yung kung alin doon yung may pinakamataas ang value. So that is already your modal class. Yung modal class na yon. Ngayon, paano natin ulit makukuha ang exact lower limit? Okay, so if it is whole number, just subtract 0.5 to your lower limits para makuha mo yung exact lower limit. And then, D1 naman is the difference between the frequency of the modal class and that of the frequency below the modal class. And then D2, yan yung difference naman ng frequency ng modal class at saka yung frequency ng above the modal class. And of course, I, again, is the size of the class interval. Example. Okay. So, nataon lang ha na yung median class natin kanina is nasa between 80 to 84 na class interval. And again, in this example kasi, makikita natin na yung class interval na 80 to 84, nag-fall yung highest frequency, which is 16. Kaya, ayan, gagamitin ulit natin to na example. So, alam natin that the exact lower limit or the LMO is equal to 79.5. Our I is equal to 5. Tapos, paano natin malaman yung D1 at saka D2? Gaya ng sinabi natin kanina, ang D1 is the difference between the frequency. Yan. Frequency of your modal class and the frequency of the frequency below the modal class, which is 8. Below. Ito. So, since below, sabi niya, yung 8. So, 16 less 8, ang D1 natin ay 8. And then, yung D2 naman, that is the difference between your frequency of the modal class, which is 16, at saka yung frequency ng nasa taas nito, which is 13. Kaya, 16 minus 13 is 3. Yan. So, ngayon, substitute now to the formula. MO is equal to LMO plus D1 over D1 plus D2 multiplied by I. Ang makukuha natin na ngayon na value is 83.14. Again, your LMO is equal to 79.5 plus your D1 is 8 all over 8 plus 3. Kasi yung D1 plus D2 natin. So, that is 8 plus 3 is 11. Okay? Multiplied by 5. Kaya ang makukuha natin na value is 83.13. Nakuha po ba? Yan. 79.5 plus 8 over 11 multiplied by 5. Makukuha natin yung value na yon. Okay. Question. Mag-question kayo. Pwede kayong mag-comment kung meron kayong question. So, just comment or just PM me with your question and I will answer it. Okay, so in the next video, I will be discussing about measures of variation. So with that, thank you for watching.